Ice, you text me. It's like your dad got us again, didn't he?
Oh man, I said, your father's got to be connected somewhere. He connected, so he ain't telling us, man. Somebody run him some numbers or something, bro.
I told him. I said, look, I had Detroit, and then I was like, at the last minute changed to Chicago. Like, damn.
Bad boy, baby.
Yeah. Welcome to the first 40 with the Goon Squad, Black Thor, Ice Water, and yours truly, Puma. Going to be talking sports for about an hour and a few. So make sure you click into our YouTube page, share, like, comment, and also subscribe so the shows can come to you automatically. All right. And watch the show throughout the whole entirety of the show because we put a lot of bonus material that you don't want to miss that we leave on the back end of the show. How you doing there, Black?
Oh man, it's good, baby. It's good. How about you?
Great, great. Ice Water, how you doing with the big sign there? Love
yeah,
that.
Bro. Yeah, sponsors. Love y'all, baby. I keep it rolling. That's what I'm talking about. They keep me going, baby. You never know what's going to happen every week. Love y'all.
All right, I'm going to stay with you, Ice, on your eye test players, teams, or games that stood out for you last weekend in week 13 of the NFL.
Yeah, first of all, I got to start off. I don't know what the hell is going on in Seattle, man. I'm serious. Giants are starting to play a little bit, but there's no way in hell that I think Seattle was supposed to lose that game. 17-12, Giants defense has been showing up quite well. But when Russell Wilson attempts 43 pass attempts, right? 43 pass attempts, there's no way. The defense was horrible. He threw for 263 yards. The defense allowed Gallman to get 130 yards. And they also allowed the rebirth of Alfred Morris. I don't know where the hell he's been. But their defense has been horrible. They need to really check that in because they look bad. I mean, great win for the Giants, but they look real bad. The other thing, too, very quickly is New England 45-0 over the Chargers. It was the mastery again of Belichick. It doesn't matter. We could have went up there and played. And he could have put us at quarterback each one for a quarter. He would have made it happen. Special teams scored 14 points. They used short runs to win. Cam Newton passed for 69 yards. And he rushed for 48. And they won 45-0.
Yeah.
Mr. Lynn, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. They coming for you. You know it, too. 45 points when you think about that, too. Last but not least, I'm going to go with Green Bay 30-16 over Philadelphia. And the reason why I'm going to go here is because of Jalen Hurts. I want to give him some love. They threw him right in there. Things weren't going well in a very crucial time. He completed 5 of 12 passes, 109 yards, threw a touchdown. Did throw a pick, but he came in and made some things happen. So if nothing else, Philadelphia knows that they have another option. And I think he's going to do well. I'm happy for him. Just to kind of them finally give him opportunity. And not only that, he moved the ball. He found people. And sometimes it's a good change of pace is a good thing.
Yeah, I checked him out too during that game. And it did seem like the team really responded to him more so than Wentz at this particular time. Black Thor, give me your eye test, man.
Yeah, I think they lost all face and Wentz. It seemed like Steelers are going down, baby. They're going to go down to their first defeat. Roethlisberger is doing an interception. I would start with Detroit in Chicago, man. You know, I'm on big time now, the Red Zone channel, and it bounces around. And there was some point in that game, you just knew Chicago, that game wrapped up, bro. You just knew for the most part that game was wrapped up. You know, I was counting a win. You know, all right, got a win going. And then you start seeing them coming back. You're like, wait. This can't be happening. It can't be happening. But it happened. And I know you texted and said about the coach. I don't know what's going to take for Chicago to understand that, yeah, you got to clean house there, bro. That team needs a serious cleaning. Atlanta and New Orleans, man. The quarterback for New Orleans, he threw some passes yesterday. It wasn't too bad. But I'm going to pay more attention to Atlanta Falcons. I'm sorry, because under this coach here, and the owner needs to realize, hire this head coach. For some reason, they're playing for him. They may not win every game, but they're playing smarter. They're playing more effective, more efficiently, and they playing hard, man. They gave New Orleans all they wanted, even though they lost, but they gave them a tussle. It wasn't easy. Seattle, I'm not surprised in a sense. I'm surprised they lost to the Giants. but I'm not surprised where they're finding themselves because I watched them throughout the year, and they're hot and cold, man. That defense is not good at all. Russell was doing some Houdini stuff. He can't do it anymore. And I think the league has basically caught up how to play Russell Wilson. It's sad to say that, but I think they finally caught on how to basically defend him and keep him from doing what he does. With that being said, man, the league thought they caught up with Mahomes, but they really hasn't. I don't know if you guys watched the game, man. There was a touchdown. That touchdown to Hill.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to just challenge that, Andy. I know Andy was like, no, don't worry. Let's go another 20 points. You got to at least, you know what I mean? I don't know who was up there boot telling them not to throw the flag, whatever. It's like, bro, everyone saw it. That was a touchdown. I mean, that's 7 points right there. But even the defense itself allowed Houston, I mean, the Chiefs to kind of come down the field. I thought about Hank Schramm articulating down the field. That's what the Chiefs did last night. Articulate down the field, man. They kept coming down and kept getting 3 points. Denver's thinking that's a smart way to play Kansas City. Reality, it's not. You got to stop them. You can stop them because at some point they are going to come down there and score. You can't expect them to keep coming in the red zone and come up getting 3 points. With that being said, I'm looking at the Raiders, and I don't know what's going on with the Raiders, man. I have no idea. I know John Gruden can fire himself, but he may want to think about it because the last few weeks, the Raiders are playing some horrible. And then they won yesterday. They're playing some horrible football. When you got to do a Hail Mary or a bomb to beat the Jets, something's wrong, bro. Something's wrong. Even Minnesota, you can't pat yourself on the back thinking that you've done something great. Jacksonville should have won that game. You got to go to overtime at home to beat Jacksonville? I don't get it, man. Some of these teams you're looking at, they're going to make the playoffs. Realistically, they shouldn't. Same thing with the Giants. They'll make it, but a lot of these teams are going to make it. Why they're going there? I know everybody said, well, you get there. Minnesota's not going anywhere if they make it. They're not. Seattle's not going anywhere if they make it. And I feel sorry for this team, man, because I think they have a lot of promise. Arizona Cardinals. And I picked them this week, and it's just like it's almost like they're starting to get in their own way now. They're starting to kind of fall back to who we thought they were. Even though Kyler Murray's doing his thing, it just seemed like now they're having a tough time finishing games. They play well enough, but they don't know how to finish. They kind of lag on and don't get things done.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the other quarterback that I feel sorry for is Deshaun Watson, because he's trying his best to win, and they showed him on the sidelines yesterday. Like, I don't know if he was crying or not, but he, it just seemed like he's so tired of losing, and they're not giving him any weapons over there. And we said that last week in the picks that with the wide receiver going down to a suspension, that what other weapons does he have? And Indianapolis just barely won that game, 26-20 at that particular time. I don't know if the Texans went out late and was drinking and thought that they had an easy win with Cleveland, but that's the way it seemed. And then when they tried to turn it on, it was just too late. They're losing to 41-35. Black, Colt McCoy.
That's what I said, baby. That's what I said. I you know what? It's funny because the sad thing, I'm gonna say this real quick about the quarterback for the Texans. I can't feel sorry for him because a couple of years ago, man, if not, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I think the receiver was gone when he signed that big deal with the Texans. He didn't have to, bro. You should have demanded the coach got fired before you signed that big deal or thought about it, because you knew he was depleting that roster before he took the money. He got the money, bro. So I love him, but I can't feel sorry for him. The Giants are starting to make this general manager look like, a smart guy, because we all thought Colt McCoy was selling, Escalade somewhere, but he had to try to do one. And he came on, got a win Sunday, baby. I didn't even watch the game. I couldn't watch the game. I did one of these numbers. I checked the score about 7:00 at night, and I said, "What? The Giants won?
ran the ball down their throat. I mean,
yes.
Seattle can't stop the run.
No, they can't. I will say this about the Giants head coach, man. He's whatever they have in the cupboard, he's getting into play, and I applaud him for that. They're playing well. They're playing hard. Giants one of those teams, I guess, and they kind of realized their division was open. But when you think about some of the games they lost early in the season, they could have just kind of went the other direction. Like, you know what? We're not good enough, but no, they're fighting. And more than likely, they're gonna represent that division. Who would have thought that when the season started? That the New York Giants, the New York Football Giants, will be in the playoff representing the NFC. But then again, Washington might win tonight, but they're probably in the battle. But I think the Giants got a good shot.
Yeah. Denver giving a game to the Chiefs. And the Chiefs, for me, it was a good win, but they got to figure out how to run the ball more and stop putting Mahomes back there throwing and slinging the ball so many times. Even though they have talented receivers and things of that sort, tight ends and Tyreek Hill, you really can't stop them. They got to really kind of hone in. And this is the time of year where you really got to rely on that running game. At least one running back or a combination of two running backs over 100 yards has to happen for Kansas City to give a little bit of ease off of Mahomes, because teams are going to start really coming up with some creative ways to blitz him. So I that's the only thing I have, the criticism I have about the Chiefs, is that run the ball a little bit more. Black, you were going to say something? You're waving your finger?
Yeah, because I here's the problem. I want to pinpoint when you say about running the ball. The rookie was running the ball well, bro. We used to go back before they picked up, I can't think of his name now, the ex-Jets player from the Steelers. Before they picked up Le'Veon Bell, and now that's the problem. They're trying to feature him. And Le'Veon Bell is not what he used to be as a running back. He's good coming out of the backfield, and they're trying to feature him and run him more, give the ball back to the rookie. That rookie was killing him, bro. Killing him. But now, and I said this when the Chiefs went and got Le'Veon, you don't need him. You don't. But then his eyes got big. He was a new toy. And now you're trying to feature him out there running, and he doesn't have it now between the tackles. He just doesn't. He don't. And they're trying to, get him going. And at the same time, you're hurting the running game.
Yeah, other games I'm going to talk about real quick is the Lions-Bears game. I was on texting back and forth with my boy Eddie, and he was like, "Oh man, maybe the Bears they're going to give this away." And I'm like, before it even happened, he was like, maybe the Bears are going to give this away. And I wasn't shocked. It was like a regular Sunday on football in Chicago with the Chicago Bears to me. And it's bad when in Chicago that usually when the Bears win, there's 2 hours of programming of them talking to the players and they talking to commentators and reporters. When they lose, when you turn to Fox here on the local station and they go to paid programming, they don't even talk. They don't talk about it on the news. It's like the game never happened. It's like, what game? It never happened. It's all an illusion to you, Chicago. It never happened. So that's when when Chicago loses, there are no special shows on the radio or TV about them winning and they blowing smoke up their behinds about how great a team they are. Remember, this team started 5-1, and they slid down to this particular point. And Miami, what can you say? They struggled a little bit against Cincinnati, but finally really kind of pulled that one out. And Tua's back, and he had a pretty good game with throwing for 296 yards with a touchdown. And they did just enough to win that game 19-7 with an 8-4 record. Ice, any other thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going to run up north to Cleveland. I think that was a very important win for them, seriously, from the standpoint of, I know Tennessee might have came out struggling and slow or whatever, but if the Browns really want to be taken seriously, I mean, they're going to be in a position where they can make the playoffs, and it's something they can really build upon if they want to contend. So this is the opportunity, minus your receiver that got hurt earlier. They really can make some things happen, and they want to turn it around and say, now we're finally moving forward with not being considered, the mistake on the lake and all the other crap. You want to put this behind you. I think this is the opportunity for them to do that now, and at least keep trying to win, because even though it was close, you thought maybe they might be able to find a way to mess it up versus Tennessee, because Tennessee was roaring back. They won. A very important game, and Tennessee is right in the mix. So we'll see what happens.
All right, Black. Who gets the game ball from this weekend in football?
Good question. Oh, man. I'm going to give it to Mahomes, man. You may look at it and go, okay, he didn't have one of his stellar games. They didn't go out there and basically dominate, but he kept the offensive moving. And it's interesting how I'm going to give it to him not because of the score or his stats. It's basically how, if you watch him play, how he sees the game. He does some things, man, where you're watching him play where he's acting like he's running, and then out of nowhere he zips it with accuracy. There was one play where he was telling the receiver to get out of the way, go long, so he could run. He has control of what's going on in that backfield so well, man. It's hard to defend him for 4 quarters. For that reason alone, man, he may seem like an easy choice, but his brain of thinking, because think about this for the longest time, man. Cats that look like him, they say couldn't play that position based on the fact they couldn't think their way through.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, when you watch him play, his skill set is phenomenal. But the way he sees the game, I don't care who you talk about. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. You can pull them all in one container and shake them up and down. I don't think they see the game the way he sees the game. Or they saw the game the way he sees the game.
Wow. Ice Water. Game ball.
I was torn because I really thought giving it to Belichick for being able to score 45 points with a quarterback passes the ball for 69 yards and rushes for 48, and you win. But I'm going to give it to Washington football team. And we just watched them defeat Pittsburgh.
The hate you have for this.
I'm being real. I mean, real. There's a lot of teams that hate. There's no hate. They did what they had to do. They've been playing well, been beat some teams you didn't think they would beat. And they were the team that finally defeated Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh was undefeated. And a lot of teams came close, but they got it done. And you think about the draft picks that they picked up and some new changes they made with Ron Rivera. They actually have guys on the team now that feel like they want to win. And then kudos to Alex Smith. Alex Smith, I kind of put him down early on because he was struggling, but he's starting to look like they're trying to make some headway. And I think that's good for their franchise overall. So, yeah, I'm going to give them the game ball because they're the first team to beat the only undefeated team in the NFL. So, kudos to Washington.
Beat the world's team.
There you go. The world's team.
The Globes team.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you – this is going to surprise you because we always talk about this dude in a negative light. But I got to give it to Baker Mayfield. Give him the game ball. 4 touchdowns yesterday, 334 yards. And whether Tennessee was ready to play or not, he came ready to play. And he threw some dimes. He did a lot of play action that threw off the defensive backs of Tennessee, and he got it done for the last few weeks. And they have a pretty nice record in 9-3. They're in the playoffs for the first time. Probably going to be in the playoffs for the first time in a long time. So I got to give it up to him. Throwing 41 on a team that we didn't think could lose the rest of the season. And they didn't take this team seriously, and Baker Mayfield put 4 touchdowns on them. So I got to give him the praise for that. Let's go to college football. I'm going to Black first on college football teams, games, or players that stood out this weekend.
I'm going to tap out, bro. I'm going to resign my time to Brother Ice because I didn't get a chance to really catch any games this weekend. I apologize for that, man. But I will say this. For some reason, I'm having a tough time with college basketball and college football. Just finding the energy to watch it, bro. I don't know why. I can't say why, but I'm having a tough time. But with that being said, Ice has my time.
All right.
Wow, I feel privileged.
It's Christmas. It's Christmas.
Like she gave me the first place trophy. He didn't want anymore. Appreciate that. Yeah. I usually don't start here, but I'm gonna start with the Ohio State Buckeyes. Simply because of the factor where they were impressive in the situation against Michigan State, 52-12. Basically missing 3 starting offensive linemen. One of their leaders on defense. Coach wasn't even there. Defense, they had a substitute coach who did a great job, but they kept running like a well-oiled machine. Major issues at center because they had a replacement center, and he was hiking the ball all over the place. And Justin Fields was like a catcher behind the plate. He would find a way just to hold on to the ball, played an exceptional game. Justin Fields did. Ohio State had 521 yards total offense. Justin Fields was responsible for 303 of those 521 yards. He threw for 2 touchdowns. He ran for 2. He just did a little bit of everything. And the team overall played well because they really were trying to make a statement, and I think they did that real well. 52-12. So considering not having the starters and your coach not available, I know it's Michigan State, but Michigan State has actually risen up to defeat a few other teams before. Also, kudos to Indiana, 14-6 over Wisconsin. Lost their backup quarterback was a Jack Tuttle, playing his first collegiate start, and they won the game. Tells you that team is really hungry despite losing their starting quarterback. Surprised by Oregon losing to California.
Yeah.
They lost 21-17. That kind of shocked me a little bit. I thought Oregon was for real, not so sure anymore. And last but not least, I'm going to take this from you, West Coast correspondent.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you know.
Game of the week.
Your game of the week. So I'm going to go there. And I did not watch it until later on, and I started watching. I was like, okay, we might have some here. And I'm going with Coastal Carolina.
Yeah.
Over BYU.
Yeah.
I didn't know Coastal Carolina was undefeated. So I know how you love BYU. They took that L, and hell of a game, though. It was two good teams. Coastal Carolina now has moved up, and people got to pay attention to them in the rankings.
Yeah, that's to me the game of the week. And maybe if you haven't watched that game, tap in and watch that game. That was a great game. Matter of fact, those two teams, I have to give them both kudos because they didn't set that game up until Wednesday of last week to play on that Saturday. So BYU got to take my hats off to them and say, hey, we'll come out to Carolina and play. And I've been talking about Coastal Carolina for a long time. They've been beating some top 25 teams all year. They have no fear. A lot of people say they're small and they're not strong enough, but they took on BYU and almost reminiscent of the Super Bowl with Tennessee and the Rams, stopped a player from getting into the end zone to seal the win in that game. So if you haven't seen that game, find a rebroadcast of that game. That is one of the best games you're going to see. Iowa State is just thumping folks in their conference. They thumped West Virginia last week, something terrible. And then you had Indiana, who may be playing in the Big Ten championship game, beating Wisconsin. And so their players just pouring praises all over their coach. It was a great thing to see. I don't know what Illinois is going to do in the Big Ten, but I'm gonna get off the Big Ten for a little bit and talk about Oklahoma State. I felt that they got upset by TCU, and you thought Oklahoma State was going to kind of do something in their conference and not going to. I did get to watch Penn State and Rutgers, and Penn State looking a little bit more like Penn State. North Carolina beating West Carolina. You had the feeling that Clemson and Alabama and Ohio State are trying to really kind of rev up for the playoffs and really trying to get the voters to say, hey, these are the teams that need to be in the playoffs, because they are revving up and they are playing really hard and running up the scores on their opponent. Because Alabama, I mean, it was kind of sad. There was a game that I thought Black was going to watch. Is that Alabama LSU game, and because it reminded you of Les Miles being at LSU, the way Alabama beat on LSU last weekend. It was really horrible. Also, Florida had a good game. Let's go through the top 25. Alabama still number 1, followed by Notre Dame, Clemson, Ohio State number 4. Texas A&M, their game is postponed against Ole Miss, but they're trying to get into the playoffs, and they're waiting for somebody. The only way I think that they will is if one of the top 4 slip, which could happen on December 19th when Notre Dame and Clemson play for the ACC championship. So Texas A&M followed by Florida, Cincinnati, Georgia. Cincinnati kind of is staying, holding kind of their pattern right now, because BYU was on the rise, but after getting beat by Coastal Carolina, they had to fall, because they were talking about a game between Cincinnati and BYU. And that is probably not going to happen. Georgia's number 8, Iowa State number 9. They move up 4 spots to number 9. You have Miami, Florida. They're going to be playing North Carolina this coming Saturday. Oklahoma and West Virginia going to be playing. Oklahoma's ranked number 11. You have Indiana's ranked number 12, followed by BYU, Northwestern, who dropped a game last weekend. They're at 14. Oklahoma State, Wisconsin, North Carolina, 17th. Coastal Carolina moves up 2 spots to 18th. You have Iowa, and also at number 20, you have USC, who gave a spanking to their opponent last weekend. Ice, any more thoughts on the top 25 or games that stood out to you?
Yeah, like you just said, watching those games is kind of crazy, but you wonder, because now all of the talk is about who's number one, who's number two, who's number three, who's number four, and all this stuff. So we got a lot of stuff going on with the playoffs. So I'm curious. I have one thing I'm saving for a special segment, but I'm just curious of how this all plays out, because I've always said that the games beforehand doesn't really matter. I mean, it doesn't. You just talk until you get to the point where it really does. You have to take in consideration who the Final Four is. So right now, it's just kind of water under the bridge, and it makes for good water cooler, or not water cooler, makes for great den conversation because everybody's at home now for the most part.
Quarantine. Stay strong. Let's switch to college basketball, Ice. And Gonzaga still holds on to that number 1 spot. They're going to be playing pretty soon, I believe. I guess their game was postponed against Baylor.
Yeah. I was sick. I wanted to see that one.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing number 1 and number 2. Gonzaga number 1 and Baylor number 2. You got Iowa there. They're going to be playing North Carolina tomorrow night. Michigan State in the Big Ten ACC Challenge that happens every year. And so there's some kind of special matchups that I'm going to be looking forward to seeing, especially that Illinois-Duke matchup. Because I was talking to my dad. He's a big Duke fan in basketball. And I'm like, this is not the same Duke team that I've been watching for years. And he said, you're absolutely right. They're not. It's like they're a bunch of younger guys that are still trying to figure it out, in his words. So it will be interesting to see how Illinois and Duke, that game kind of plays out. And because Duke is ranked number 10, Illinois is ranked number 6. They fell down 1 slot. That Virginia-Michigan State is an intriguing matchup. Iowa with Garza, the big man at Iowa, going up against the bigs in North Carolina. That's going to be an interesting matchup. But I was wondering how also this matchup against Virginia Tech and Penn State. If you haven't seen Virginia Tech play, that's a pretty good basketball team in the ACC. But Texas knocked off North Carolina. I was able to see that game last weekend. And Michigan State looked really strong over the past few days. Give me your eye test of some of the games that you've seen in college basketball.
Yeah, Villanova was impressive with their win over Texas. Texas is a very good team. I think I told you about watching Mr. Jones, the dunker, who comes off the bench. Yeah, so Villanova winning over Texas was very, very good. Michigan State over Duke. You mentioned Duke was young, but still Michigan State was kind of running real well. Another one of our favorite teams now, 3-1 Ohio University.
Yes.
Played Cleveland State. Now listen to this. They went on a 40-0 run.
Yeah.
Basketball game. 40-0. They scored 40 points. Come on. Damn. Come on, Cleveland State. 40-0 run. So I like OU. Kentucky suffered their 3rd loss of the season already.
Yeah.
3rd loss. They lost to Georgia Tech in a bad fashion. So no matter what happens there, Coach Cal found a way to get them back. And he will tell you, we're not good. We're not good. And then come.
He's right. They're not. Right.
But come tournament time, he'll find a switch. And I think that's what they normally do. So, like you said, we have some great games coming up soon. One of the games I'm looking forward to is definitely that North Carolina game with Iowa, Illinois, and Duke. And then I also want to see Creighton and Kansas. Creighton.
Yeah. Yes.
So I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully we can at least get some of this basketball in. And man, I was really looking forward to that Baylor Gonzaga game.
Yeah, because when I saw Baylor against Illinois, and I text you this, I'm like, Illinois is not ready. Illinois is not their point guards were just too small to match up with Baylor's guards. And Baylor would just run you up and down the court. And I thought that Illinois was ready for prime time. And this is early in the season, so it's great that, to me, it's always great that teams get a little taste of it at the beginning of the season to see what they're playing against and the competition out there, and see and keep them working hard throughout the season, because you never know when you get to the tournament, you may be seeing the same team again, and you know them, you're comfortable, you can play up to that level. So, but when I saw them play Baylor, I'm like, okay, they're almost there, but they're just not ready for prime time, and maybe because they hadn't played too many people outside the conference that were top 20 teams, and Baylor is like almost, if Gonzaga slips, Baylor's going to be the number one team. And so the old saying, in order to beat a man, you got to beat the man, and Illinois is just not ready to beat the man yet. But that Creighton Kansas game is very intriguing, because quiet as it's kept, Creighton has a really nice squad.
Yeah.
And they don't get a lot of coverage. I think they're in Nebraska. They don't get a lot of coverage. And so they got a, quiet as it's kept, a nice squad. And if Kansas is not careful tomorrow night, they will be 4-2 after that game, because Kansas, you have Bill Self there, and we're not even going to talk about the scandal and all the NCAA stuff. But it just doesn't seem like that team they had last year with Azubuike and the guards there. It's not the typical Kansas team that you're dealing with. And so I know they got some guys that were there from last year, but it just seems like he has to change the coaching style to fit the players that he has now. And it's not the players where they can pound it inside to Azubuike and just dominate with rebounding and high percentage shots in this game. I'm looking at Michigan State too. Same thing. I'm wondering how they're going to fare without Cassius, the point guard, their floor leader. Who's going to emerge as the floor leader for Michigan State? Because it just seems like, even though they were able to handle Duke, who's going to step up to be that floor leader, that point guard? And they're weighing it between two players now, and they're trying to figure out who's going to step up. But when you miss a Cassius Winston type of player in those kind of real kind of tight games down the stretch, who's going to step up and make those great decisions, those great passes, hit those free throws, and be that point guard leader that we're used to seeing Michigan State having every year, having a great point guard that can lead their team through victory. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, I think you're right on point. But the one thing about Michigan State, we know Izzo will find his guy. He'll find that guy, and he'll mold him, and he'll get to that point, kind of like with Kentucky. They'll go through this madness early on, and then by the time the season is over, we start looking at them saying, wow, I didn't know they were really that good, or that's how they get prepared. So they don't mind losing so many games because they know they won't get right. So we'll see what happens. Been watching too Ohio State a little bit. They have a different kind of squad this year too. So they have some young guys contributing. They may not be at that level as other teams right now. They're like in the 20s as far as being ranked. But the rankings don't matter to the end, like I told you. That's how I really don't get excited about early rankings.
And I'm trying to figure out why teams like Cleveland State, Chicago State even have basketball teams at this particular point. Because y'all play the big boys and get Ohio just ran. And Ohio is not a big kind of like a big basketball school as far as I knew about it. But to go on a 40-0 run, I mean, put the water boy out there. Put somebody out there that can score some points. I've never heard of a 40-0 run, unless you're talking about the UConn women back in the day playing against Quinnipiac College and Southern Connecticut College and stuff like that. But come on, man. I mean, you schedule these games every year. Bring your competition up so you do some kind of damage or even come close to winning. Why schedule those? I mean, talk about cupcakes.
Yeah, but it's about the money, man. I mean, you say the same thing about football. Why did these teams come up, especially the historically black colleges, come out and play football, and they got a big check waiting for them because they came up. And they used to have great bands for all of the COVID went, so there was good entertainment as well.
Yeah.
But, it happens. So that's what it is. And regardless of the fact of how sad that these basketball teams may be, they still bring in major dollars for the university. Because all you got to do is win a couple games, and the alumni start getting excited coming to the games for a little bit, and they donate money. If you don't have that, then what they gonna do? Back to the intramural paper boat racing team? Got something to put their money behind.
Yeah, we're gonna wake Black up over there. We're gonna have a segment that we used to do on our podcast that we're gonna do now called "Why You Mad, Son?" Where Black, if you ever love like mean rants, go back to our podcast on Blog Talk. Some of the most classic rants. If I can ever figure out how to pull those rants off and just do a whole show of Black Thor rants.
Oh man, this one may not live up to the old one, but
why you
nevertheless, it's a rant. I've never seen a time, man, where I think there was a boxing match that took place this past weekend. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I'm kind of glad I didn't, because when you expose me to Floyd Mayweather getting ready to come out every time, man, to fight an exhibition fight of a YouTuber, there's nothing more chaotic, idiotic, and stupid and buffoonish than that, bro. You can't. I mean, you just can't. I mean, I don't even think as a world society, I know ICE is getting revved up, but as a society, we should not participate and watch this garbage, bro. Because it's not, I'm not going to say it damages legacy, but why would you want to put yourself in a ring if for all you have amounted and accounted for, to put yourself in the ring and do something stupid as this, bro? There's nothing that anybody should really pay any attention to. And to me, it's just stupid on his behalf. I know you might have said he's mad because Nate got his ass kicked. Nate put himself in the ring, bro. He put himself in the ring. So you go ahead and basically punish this guy or his brother. He might be fighting his brother from what I read today. It's just stupid, bro. Where we come to where we just can't, somebody can't get their ass kicked anymore. We just we're okay with it. It happens in life, bro. It happens. I mean, I don't know if he's your boy, whatever it is. Sometimes in life you get your ass kicked. Guess what? You band-aid yourself up and you move on. It's the world we live in, man. But not anymore. It's like, I gotta get my uncle, my big brother come fight you. Seriously? How childish is this, bro? It's childish. And I know people that love him gonna be like, oh yeah, but Floyd doing it. I don't care what he's doing it for, bro. If you really want to come back, fight somebody that can kick your ass. You know what I mean? You dodge people for your entire career, as far as I'm concerned. Come back and fight somebody that can really put a punch to your mouth, bro. And then I'm impressed. Because this right here, I'm not impressed with. I never will be impressed with. I don't even want to know when it happens. I don't want to know it take place. I want to know nothing about it, man. Because this is a joke. And to me, he's turning into a joke.
They talk about bringing Snoop Dogg to do the commentating. I told you this is the future of boxing. I told you this is the future of boxing. Exhibition and concerts, man. I'm telling you, this is what I think he's probably doing for a number of reasons. He probably saw how much money Jones and Tyson got. I watched the boxing match this weekend, and last weekend was much more exciting as far as a telecast than this week. This weekend, even though Earl Spence won and there was some good fights, it was just boring. It was just boring. And I'm telling you, what we saw last weekend is going to get infused in boxing with the concerts and folks rapping and all this and singing and all that other stuff in between the fights. And I think this is the future of boxing. And then Floyd smelling that, whether he's smelling the money or he wants to get back for Nate, I don't know. I don't know if you want to comment to that, Ice, or you want to tell him why you mad, son.
I'm going to tell you why I'm mad, but I'm going to damn sure comment unless you open the door. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Man, that's not boxing. It's not. We saw real boxing this weekend. Might have been boring to you because they didn't have the hats turned back. People wasn't smoking blunts and blowing their damn lungs out. That's not, that's more attractive. Everybody trying to do gang signs. Everybody a blood or a crip. I mean, man, come on. Seriously. I mean, I'm not mad at Snoop. I think it's a great concept. They made a lot of money. And then you get your word out about more weed. It's never a bad thing for a lot of people in the community. And people want to watch it. So have that on the side. My buddy Buster Douglas said he's going to come back. He'll fight Tyson. So yeah, man, everybody do that. It's kind of like one of them things that, you like, it's kind of like everybody knew wrestling was fake, right? But you watched it. That's what you wanted to watch. Dudes cutting their forehead, Bobo Brazil, Dusty Rhodes. I go down the line. Ernie the Cat Lad, and we go all the way through, Jimmy Superfly Snooker. But that's what you watched because you knew what it was. Same way with this exhibition boxing. But don't mix it in together with the real boxing. Come on, man. There's some great bouts still to be watched and still to be had. If you want to go watch the circus, go to the circus. Go to the circus.
They're bringing the circus to you.
No, don't do that because there's enough room for everybody at the table, bro. You want to watch, oh, yeah, Tyson came back, then he fought Mike, then like Bob Aaron said, he fought Mike Tyson fought Buster Douglas and Roy Jones in the same night, and he smoked a joint in between. Okay, you want to watch that madness, and you get a sponsor for it? Bravo! But don't mess up the real boxing, man. Seriously, but there's still some decent boxing, like the show was tonight. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that. So anyway,
so you told us why you mad?
No, that ain't it.
All right, why you mad, son?
I'm gonna tell you, and I wasn't gonna say this, but I keep hearing it around, and I'm not gonna say I'm not trying to be partial to anybody, but it don't make a lot of sense to me. I continued hearing the announcers, and I could hear primarily fans, but primarily announcers talking about this college football playoff, and all we hearing about is, well, if Ohio State goes undefeated, it doesn't matter because now if Florida beat Alabama, if Clemson comes up and beat Notre Dame, then that means that Ohio State is out. How the hell they out? If you undefeated, how you out? How you out? Florida, really? Really? You already lost. But then you beat Alabama, are they still up? Then Clemson, okay, Notre Dame. Well, they automatically, okay, there has to be another spot. You mean to tell me if all of these teams lose except for Ohio State, everybody got one loss, Ohio State is out? It ain't their fault that the Big Ten is not that great. But that's those teams like the ACC and then also the SEC saying, well, if they don't play enough games, we don't think they should get in. You know why? Because you're scared. You are scared. You know you're scared of Ohio State. They scared of them because we know what happened last year. I ain't going to say nothing. LSU won fair and square, but everybody know them damn referees, one to play, two to play away in the situation. All I'm saying is,
Wait, the refs.
I'm just saying, it was pass interference. Everybody and their mama saw that. Go back and watch the tape. But that's water over the bridge. It's over. They lost. They could have done some other things. All I'm saying is this. Now, don't get scared because they're coming for revenge. The players can't say it. But damn what I said, they're coming for you. They're coming. Ohio State wants nothing more than to get an opportunity to go after the big boys again. But now, of course, we know they mad. In the back end, they're like, well, we got to find a way to keep them out. Well, now it's like, let's get on the phone and tell Michigan, y'all need to have enough COVID cases so y'all can't play them so they don't get to the 6th game. Are you kidding me? Scared. That's weak, man.
Oh,
what are you doing? What the hell? Be a man. Or young men and man up. Paul Feinbaum, really, bro? Well, I don't know if they want him. Really? Get them out of here, man. Come on, man. Quit being scared. A man, as Black Thor said, Black Thor would say, like they used to say on, what was that, the first 48, when that lady down in Memphis said, there comes a time when a man got to be a man. And that's what we're talking about right now.
Oh.
All right, I'm going to wrap up. Why you mad, son?
Wow.
We'll bring it from time to time because I don't think y'all can take it.
You said you was bringing it. I told you.
Bring it, just like the podcast. But let's talk a little bit about that fight between Garcia and Spence because I felt like Spence was it's good that he got back in the ring, got rid of some ring rust, but I was looking for him to, and I know you're asking a lot, guy coming off of an injury that he came off with. It seemed like there were times in the fight where he kind of let Danny Garcia off the hook, where he could have kind of just went in and just because Danny Garcia couldn't hurt him. I mean, he hit him with some blows throughout the fight. Why they said that one judge said that Danny Garcia had 4 rounds. I gave Garcia maybe 2. but it just seemed like Spence was just stalking him, cutting off the ring. Danny Garcia could not get the counterpunch off. That was his game plan. Once Spence figured that out, didn't give him anything to counterpunch off of. So his corner, Garcia's corner, had nothing else to tell him after that, which, bruh, get some more cornermen that can help you go through these fights and give you more strategies than counterpunching. But I just felt like it was good to see Spence get back in the ring and look like Spence, so to speak. But it just seemed like he needed a little bit more time to get back to the Earl Spence that we saw before the accident.
I agree with you. I think he was a little off, but the factor that he was in there, because you think about the damage that he had done to his face during the accident, he lost some teeth. There was a lot of healing, and I was like wondering, how's this guy gonna take a punch? But he said he had been in the ring, he'd been sparring, and so he knew what it was going to be like. And he was rusty. There was even times where I thought Earl Spence Jr. was off balance.
Yeah.
It seemed like he was always like he was this close to falling down or something to that effect. But the one thing he did do, I think they went right to the tapes. The two losses prior to that Danny Garcia had, the other guys boxed him, and they boxed him well. And that was Keith Thurman. And then he also, when he lost to Sean Porter, I didn't even know he could box.
Right.
Till that time,
that fight,
like, really. But then at that point, the point of it was, if you get ahead, like Spencer went directly at Garcia, and he backed him up, and he won like the first 5, maybe almost 6 rounds, definitely the first 5. And Danny Garcia, for some reason or another, has a hard time coming back. And like you said, bring more cornermen. He needs to just have a talk with his therapist or whoever he's talking to really find out what's the problem. Because his dad said it. You know, he was kind of like, well, you know, the Spence had a great jab, and that kind of got me going. His dad's like, hell nah. Problem is, you did great, but you're not throwing your hands.
Mm-hmm.
In all 3 fights that he has lost, he fails to come off and throw punches. He's not more aggressive. He's used to a guy just standing there, and then Danny Garcia initiates the action. But against the top-notch guys, that's not happening. And then they clearly see on his tapes what he's vulnerable to. So I think that was his issue. So I think Earl Spence Jr., considering the situation, looked real good. Actually looked real good, and he punished Danny Garcia.
Yeah, he did.
Watched his face and his eyes. He punished him. So I think he just kind of showed you again. I told y'all, even after my accident, I'm one of the best in boxing.
Yeah, because Spence's corner kept saying, you know, quit playing with this guy. You know, quit playing with him. But it was clear that he was winning most of the rounds. Black, NBA trades. What's been happening, man? What's been getting you all kind of revved up for the NBA season? Because I know, even though they're supposed to be playing now, I'm not missing them.
Oh, they're playing now. It's preseason, I think, right? I'm
yeah,
not
even though they're supposed to be playing now, I'm not missing it at all.
Oh, okay.
Camp. You had Westbrook going to DC, and then you had John Wall. I remember you broke that on our show last week on the NFL picks. I want to get both of your comments about that. Gave you some days to think about that, but give me your eye test on the NBA and the trades and the training camps.
Well, you know, it's interesting. After that pick happened, and this should happen, you know, I was happy for John Wall in the sense he got away from a team that really didn't want him. It's kind of like a new start for him. Then I realized, man, what both Westbrook and Wall have left on their contract. I'm like, first of all, who paid him that in the first place? Both these two, I just couldn't imagine. But I think that it's interesting because Harden didn't show up for something. It says due to COVID or whatever the case may be. But I don't think Houston's trained Harden. And I think when Wall get out there, I think they're going to do well. I think they do okay. I think if Houston could find some bigs in the middle, I think Houston won this deal for the most part, this trade. You know, Washington's going to step into Washington and try to take over. It's not going to work, in my opinion. Westbrook's going to step in and try to take over. It's not going to work. As we know, LeBron basically signed a 2-year deal. Anthony went up for 5, so they're basically kind of setting the tone for, you know, to try to repeat. And the only thing I can say about this, man, I like some of the changes that they did make. I think Schroeder is going to be some of the head case. He's already saying that he's going to play point guard, and I think that's LeBron's position. So that's going to be...
You're not sure, but you think it's LeBron's position.
I think that's LeBron's position, so I'm not sure that's going to work. And I think, crazy as it may sound, man, I think they did a disservice getting rid of Dwight Howard. I think you kept him on the bench. That cat they got from the Clippers, I don't think that's going to make them that much better when it comes down low. But the key caveat here, man, I know Anthony Davis signed for, 5 years, but to me, is he going to be able to play a whole season?
Yeah.
Because what he did last year was based on what they did with COVID not playing for a period of time. So I want to see him out there for a whole season, battling and taking some hits, because every game he goes to the sideline, you wonder if he's going to come back or not. I think the Clippers, in a small way, got better. I like how they got the cat from Toronto. I think in a small way, he's going to be a little better than what they gave up or what they lost. So I'm interested to see how the Clippers come back. But even what's going on with everything that's going on, man, there's no buzz about NBA, bro. It's quiet. I mean, it's like outside of LeBron signing, they, ESPN kind of beat the hell out of that. Anthony Davis signed, they beat the hell out of that. But outside of that, even the trade was kind of the NBA got to get some juice, bro. They got to find a way to get some juice. Even out here with the Knicks, no one's talking about nothing. It's like, where's the noise? Where's the juice? And Christmas is not that far away, so we'll see.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the breakdown for the Davis contract. This year he's going to get $32 million, over $32 million. Next year, 35. The year after that, 37. Year after that, in 2023, over $40 million. And after that, over $43 million. That's an option year. That's a lot of cheese, brother.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's why I said I never thought he was going to leave in the first place. He ain't going no damn where. He's going to go to play for somebody else that they have no chance of winning. The other part, too, is he mentioned he was concerned about injury. So if he get hurt, he wants his money. he already setting you up. He told you, if I get hurt, or I'm really worried about injury, so I signed a long-term contract, so they at least have to guarantee me the money. And I think, too, when you look at LeBron knows that if he knew about his contract and what he's trying to do, they felt good about winning this year, and they might be able to make a run. If not next year, then the following year they can make a couple more runs at trying to win the championship. So with that being said, I think it made sense. I wasn't surprised by it at all. I'm like, okay, I thought something would happen like that all along. Because why would you win a championship, go somewhere else with somebody else that you don't know anything about, and you have never won before? I mean, Anthony Davis, yeah, you could have went to Chicago, but for what?
Right.
Because you just want to go home. You haven't won before. Why you want to run back with LeBron? You just won. So I wasn't surprised by that. But the Harden Westbrook trade, I'll just say this. I'm glad for Wall as well. Because I mean, a lot of people were beating up on Wall saying he was the cancer and Bradley Beal this. And now we're going to find out. So Bradley Beal's your squad. Oh, no, it's not. I'm sorry. It's Russell Westbrook's squad. Because you know who's squad. So you thought John Wall was bad, bro? Well, just wait. He already telling you, I'm going to play the way I play. I don't care what nobody says. He already has a wrong attitude. Westbrook's like, people don't, they misunderstand me. I'm going to just be me. Okay, I get that, which is why you're going to lose more games. I think if John Wall, I saw an interview with him. He said he's in great shape, been in great shape since March, feeling real good about himself. And Harden just feeling some kind of way because he wants to, he's being bratty right now, wants to go to Brooklyn, play with his boys, and that's not going to work because they got too much money involved with it. And you think about Houston, they would be foolish to trade both of them. Because where are you going to start at? I mean, you could start with John Wall, but prior to John Wall, not picking up John Wall, how could you let both of them go? Because you didn't have nothing to build around. But I think Harden is just being a little bratty. He'll come around, and John Wall is the difference between Westbrook and Wall is John Wall has the ability to be a playmaker when he wants to. Westbrook is a one speed, man. When he run the ball, he got the ball. It's in his hands. If he decide he want to give it to you, but it's one speed. That's what it is. That's why he got all the triple doubles. He didn't like it, throw it off the glass, go get the rebound so he can pad the stats. Dude is one speed. He's a hell of an athlete and a hell of a player. But it's like, I mean, you got to understand that chemistry. When like I told you, when Kevin Durant said, yo, you can't tell Russell anything. He can't tell you nothing. Russell just does Russell. But I think John Wall realizes that he wants to win and they want to move the ball. The other caveat, I know y'all clown him all the time, but I saw a video with DeMarcus Cousins. DeMarcus Cousins is in shape, bro. I don't know how long he's going to be healthy, but he is in shape. And if he brings anything like he can with them two playing together, like they were back at Kentucky, trying to tell you. So you saw it because that's the first thing I tried to notice about DeMarcus Cousins was where he was shape-wise. And the guy's fit, man. He said he's been waiting a long time, so we'll see how that plays, how that plays out, I think they can cause some issues. I'm just not saying they're going to win the West, but I think they'll be competitive. Two other things. Sacramento, I kind of like what they did, even though it's kind of low key by them letting the forward go. We thought he was going to be traded. He ends up signing with Atlanta, but them picking up Hassan Whiteside that can play in the center, which means you can put Marvin Bagley at the 4. And you can do a lot of different things. So you almost have like a two-headed monster at center, and you can let guys kind of fit into their natural positions. And I think they're probably in a position roster-wise than they ever have been in a long time. So I'll be interested to see that, especially with Fox leading the crew. And last but not least, I was glad to see the rookie young guy, Marcus Howard from Marquette, get signed. He got signed by Denver. I think that's going to be good for him. If nothing else, that's a great backup. Yeah. So I was happy to see because he can play.
Yeah, he can. This is what bothered me about the John Wall situation. Remember a week ago we said he wanted to be traded.
Mm-hmm.
So he got traded. And then all of a sudden you start seeing on Instagram on how him and Bradley Beal are so good friends. This is my brother. And, kumbaya. And, the press kind of blew it out of proportion that we didn't get along. And they kind of reminded me of remember the sisters in the Color Purple? Me and you must never part. They kind of look like that. And I'm like, you asked to be traded. Now all of a sudden, that's my brother. He came to see me when he heard the news and all this. Why is this all coming out now as opposed to when they were playing? It was all like they couldn't stand each other. They couldn't be on the same court with each other.
I don't know. I mean, I think to me, I'm not saying they didn't have an issue with one another, but I think it's part of it is media driven too. They want to hear some madness. They do. And I don't know how far it went, but again, they were traded. Ain't like he was a free agent. He asked for he and Westbrook were traded. But the media was really all up into it. I watched some of their the questions that they asked John Wall, and he was like, he was there for 10 years and tried to do his best, and now he's in Houston. So I don't know. It's just no matter what you say, it's always 2 sides or 3 sides to a story, right?
Yeah.
We never know the truth. So that's how I look.
Yeah, I don't know if you got to whip for this, Black, but it was like they were like, my brother, he drove to Charlotte, came to see me, and he called, he my brother. We always gonna be brothers.
I think John Wall is afraid of the backlash that's going to come from Washington. I saw some people, I don't want to leave Washington. Get out of here, man. I remember the first time he got hurt, they came out and said they're a better team without him. The players said this. We're a better team without him. He remembers that. He's been in his feelings ever since. They didn't say that because they like you, bro. They said it because that is the truth. So man up now. You want to be traded? Move on. Stop acting like a little CUNT and go on and go to your new team, bro. Cut it out. It happens. You're a grown man. It's part of the game. You asked for a trade, they gave it to you. Now, nobody cares about what you talk about, what you guys. We've seen for years you two couldn't get along. It's been obvious you two. It ain't media driven. That ain't media made up. You two do not like each other, could not play together. And that's why you're out of there. Accept it as a man and move on.
Yeah, I didn't understand it. So I don't know. I don't know about John Wall. Any other NBA trades, rumors, stories, transactions that Black you want to talk about? You heard?
That's it, man. As far as I'm concerned, man, I just want to say that I kind of felt that Houston wasn't going to trade Harden. I feel sorry for the head coach Salas, man, because he came out and said that we're going to give him his space. Don't give him jack. You tell him if you want to get paid, this is the day you show up, bro, and get coached. That's what I'm saying.
It in the world.
The NBA is too. They play these players too much, bro.
We'll give you
making more money than me. I'm the head coach now. If you come in and dribble this damn basketball, don't show up and don't get paid. It's simple as that. I'm gonna give him his space. Give him, please. That's the problem.
I read recently that the coach is considering this a holdout. That he hasn't been in yet. That he's considering it a holdout.
Let him hold out, bro. Let him hold. You got him on the contract. Let him hold out for another 2 to 3 years. How about that? Hold out. Hold out.
Ice, any other NBA news?
I don't know. That just kind of floored me while listening to him. Sound like some old man, I never, back in my day, Your day is over.
That's a union, man. You're
A
talking to
contract is a contract.
It is, but your day is over. They've already laid down for these dudes. Now all of a sudden you want to pull out the whip again? Come on, man. They set them up. They laid out. It's all what it is. So, like the man said, if I was him, just let him be a brat. You know, it's one of them things, you know, kids, they get mad. They don't want to come home for a minute. Let him stay outside. Sooner or later, he ain't got nowhere else to go. He coming home. Let him be the brat. But if you like, you heard me. If you heard me, you better get your say here. No, he ain't going nowhere. Like you said, he under contract. He coming back. Why get caught up in the wars? That's like that old, and I'm gonna throw y'all, you know how they used to do the old team where they would come up and they'd be like, he better be here. You know, if you better be here, come to see me, all them old coaches. Man, they've opened the door enough for these guys to become prima donnas, right? I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but they've opened the door. Now you want to pull it back? The players run the thing. Everybody knows that.
That's the problem.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the problem.
I agree with you. I'm not saying I don't agree with you, but that's what they've done.
Because they allow the players to run this thing, and they shouldn't. My point is this. You under contract. You know, everyone look at how LeBron handles things. That's why LeBron signs a 1 year. He signs a 2-year deal, so he has some leverage. You don't have no leverage, bro. The mere fact you want to go tell me I want to be traded, that's nice. I mean, I want to drive four-door Porsche. I may not drive one for a couple of years. It's nice. That's a nice thought. But no one has to come in and make that happen for you, bro. And that's the part I'm trying to say. I'm the head coach of this team. Cat, I need you here. If you're not here, I'm going to start doctoring your pay. You ain't got to love me, but I'm going to coach you up. Stop baby and putting bottles in these cats' mouth. All they're doing is dribbling the damn basketball. Find someone who can do half the good job as you can. Let them go out there and play. You know you coming in sooner or later because we got you on the contract. I'm going to give him his space. I ain't giving you shit. You coming and playing basketball or you're not. It's simple as that, man.
That is a union, man.
And that's we talk about that. Sorry to cut you off. I'm going to say this real quick. We talk about this when it comes down to these players because they babied. You continue to baby them. Treat them like men. Like men. You don't show up to your job tomorrow, your job, and say, hey, Ice, I'm going to give you time, space, bro. Take your time. Do what you do. Get your head right. Do what you got to do. Don't come on it. No. Bro, you under contract. Either you here or you ain't getting paid. Which one you want to do? That's it.
Yeah, I think I was watching Mike Wilbon on PTI earlier this either yesterday or last week sometime, and he was saying that the NBA more so than any other sports, the players really control, dictate where they go, what contracts they have. Things other than any other sport, like you don't see the NFL. They can't do it like that. Baseball, maybe baseball a little bit. But the NBA is like the template on how players over the years have controlled the league based on who they want to play with, where they want to play, how long they want to play, money, all that stuff.
I saw him say that, and I disagree with him. You name me the player outside LeBron has been able to move around and say, I want to go here and there, and it happened for him.
Kevin Durant.
Yeah, that's what
Kevin Durant was a free agent, bro.
Right.
Every time Kevin Durant moved, he was a free agent. Name me the player that just stood up and said, it's under contract for 3 years. I want to go play here, and it happened. Remember when Kobe was talking that nonsense? Kobe Bryant. What happened? Trade me. I don't want to be here. What happened? I'm just saying. But we think that happens here again because we see LeBron pop up. No, anytime a player move, they've been a free agent. You're under contract. And don't get me wrong, I think players should have a right. But my point is, you should be able to walk into your bosses on an NBA team, walk in, hey, I'm not happy. Guess what? We done paid you $100 million, bro. We overpaid you with that based on what you did the first time we got in the playoffs, but we never came back and said we're not going to pay you your contract. No, they said that the first year he choked. Remember the year he choked in the playoffs? Mm-hmm. They said nothing. No, we like go out there and choke it up. Now, all of a sudden, you ain't win because you haven't done some things you could have done better. You just started to play defense. You ain't played defense for 4 years, but now you want to go play with your boy. Oh, let's go make that happen. No, your ass is under contract. Stop babying them.
So one of the players that I would say is Paul George. I want to talk about Paul George. And,
thank you.
And also Kawhi Leonard, who was like, with the San Antonio Spurs, wanting to get out of there. It just seems like the NBA players have much more leverage than any other league in the other leagues, where they want to go, how they want to kind of dictate their careers.
I'll throw you. I'm not even going to talk about Paul George because that wasn't even. He's not even worth talking about. Kawhi Leonard is the only person that I will kind of say to, but the circumstances were different. Kawhi Leonard basically was not going to play, and they realized they better get something for him. And that was kind of a medical issue too. I think San Antonio was trying to kind of run away from that. And out of respect for Kawhi Leonard, also because he brought them a championship, they didn't mind moving them on. But here again, name the other players, bro. I mean, I heard Michael Wilbon. I was watching the same show and he said it, and I just don't believe it's true. I think players say it, but when they're free agents, they move. But teams just don't jump up because they're not happy no more and go, you know what, go ahead and go. No, you have players in the NBA that want to play together, be boys and boys. Yeah, that happens because they're free agents. But outside of that, I don't see players basically trade me, and it's happening. A lot of time in NFL, you sit out, you don't get paid after so many weeks. Guess what? You show up. Now they make more money so they can sit out longer, but let them sit out half a season. Let them sit out. Let them sit out. See what happens.
All right, so I want to talk a little bit about Paul George. He's lying again.
Can I respond to something real quick on that?
Oh, go ahead.
I'm going to just say this because I wrote an article about it on the Reality of Sports. Here it is. Anthony Davis was another guy that said he wanted to be traded before his contract was up. And he did command a trade. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he was going to be a free agent, but he basically told them, I'm not coming back. So you might as well get something for me now. Which they did. Right? They did. But my point of it is, in the article was not so much about the trading demanding, but the point of it, what you mentioned about flipping it, where the players have more control now. They do. Back in the day, this is how it goes. General managers were the ones that made the changes. They were like, okay, Boston, San Antonio, the Lakers, they were the ones. The smart general GMs are the ones that won championships. Notice you go back years, even back after at the Bird Magic era. There's only like 7 to 8 teams max that won championships. Everybody else, they win because the general managers controlled it. When LeBron James came in and started doing 1, 2 year contracts, other players like, oh, I'm trying to do this. And I know this is free agency, but he started doing that, and other people started doing the same thing because they followed him. The players are now the ones that basically control certain things in the league because they're the face of the league. Granted, yeah, the team does not have to trade anybody. And Houston's general manager and also the owners are the one to make those decisions. And right now, they're going to just let it play out with Harden. So to say that the coach is going to tell him what to do, the coach, he can't nothing he can do. Side his hands are tied. If he's a new coach, he can try to say something. But you know what? Here's the thing. Then if he comes out, in my opinion, start running his mouth talking about you better get your ass here, all this other stuff, then you add more fuel to the fire to Harden to demand to get the hell out. Right now, why not? Why even, I ain't saying you got to play up to him or anything like to kiss his butt, but why even bring it up? It's like, look, he's being a brat. So what? He's coming back. It's like anything else. It's the same reason why, and I'm going to get out this real quick, totally different thing. But when San Antonio, everybody talking about how great Pop is as a coach, yeah, we know all that, and they always said about, Dennis Rodman didn't get in line. You see what he did to Dennis Rodman. He made Dennis Rodman walk a fine line. He tried to be hard as hell on him. Dennis Rodman goes to Chicago. Phil Jackson was like, you know what, yo, I'm the coach. I tell you what, here's what I'm going to do. I ain't got to get out in front of the media, make all this noise. It's very simple. As you said, if you get out of line, I'm going to find you. I'm going to just dock your pay. I ain't got to do all this extra being loud and all this other stuff. You're right. He's under contract. There's a way to handle that. If you find him enough money, he's coming back. Same way with Harden. He ain't going nowhere. He mad. He feeling some kind of way. Granted, you might, as a man's man, come up and get your ass in here and do what you're supposed to do. But at the end of the day, if he under contract, all you got to do is dock his pay. That's what Phil Jackson did with Rodman. He said you can go off, but when you come back in the morning, drop your check in the basket. In the basket. Drop the check in the basket, and you want to keep acting a fool, I'm going to keep finding your ass. So I guess you got that kind of money. Why are you arguing with somebody when you control their money? I don't get that. I really don't get that.
I'm not, if you don't mind me responding, I'm not going to say you argue with him, but I'm not coming out and say, hey, I'm going to give you a space. I'm going to go back to Anthony Davis. Remember before, and part of this is because the general manager, Anthony Davis, is weak. That's in Chicago, New Orleans right now. It's the same general manager hired that dumb head coach, so I don't even want to speak him as being a real general manager. But remember when, before he took the job as general manager, the Pelicans were not playing Anthony Davis, he was whining like a baby. I want to play, don't let me play, I want to play. Now, he's talking about trading, I'm not going to be a, guess what? Set him up that whole year. If you're going to leave, maybe we don't want nothing for you, bro. And that's my point. At some point, how do you gain control back? And I would have, myself, I'm not saying it was the right thing to do with the Pelicans, but when you came out as a general manager, said, there's no way. As an owner, the owner came out and said, there's no way we're trading him. Then, you know what? At that point, you tune him out. If you're going to play basketball, at least for this year, you're going to play here, bro. You're going to play here. Stop playing and giving into their demands. Then after a year, go play with LeBron all you want. Because all they got back is a couple of players they really didn't want anyway. They got one player in England that they kind of got out of that deal. If you ask me, for the most part, anybody else they didn't want. But at some point, stand up to the players. Stop letting them kind of bully you into, well, I'm not going to be here. Guess what? You're going to be here for at least this year. And then maybe we could do something. But let them play. But they always want to sit around and go, well, we got to give something for them. No, you don't. They're on the contract, bro. If for some reason they decide to be with you, they're here. Let them play their contract.
All right. Questions from the squad.
You're still wrong. You're still wrong. No.
Questions from the squad. Black.
I sent you guys a story, man, and there's a coach. There's a quarterback coach, Mike Caff, I think his name is, Kansas City Chiefs. And his name, actually, he was offered. They wanted to talk to him last year. He's only been a NFL assistant coach or quarterback coach for 3 years. Last year, he was asked by a couple of teams to be talked to, and he says, I'm not ready to be a head coach yet. Now, you look at the enemy there, and he's there. I'm thinking this. He's going to get a job before Eric Bieniemy. So my question is, you think it's possible? And if he does, what are we going to be thinking?
Oh, Ice, I want you to take this one.
I'm going to tell you what, if he get a job before him, they crazy as hell. Are you kidding me? He ain't never called no plays before. He's never called plays. All he was been is the quarterback coach. And now I know they talking about, well, he coached Patrick Mahomes since he was a rookie. Okay, really? Did you call any plays? Are you developing him from the standpoint? Granted, don't get me wrong, but if he does get a job, I am going to be thinking some kind of way. Because there's no way, in my opinion, experience-wise, he has nothing on Eric Bieniemy. Nothing. So if they do hire him before him, and I'm glad, you can talk all you want to, Eric Bieniemy is proven. He's proven. And it's from that standpoint. And also, Eric Bieniemy played in the league. I don't know about this quarterback coach. This dude just put work in the league. So he knows about it. So if they do decide to hire him before him, they be doing themselves a disservice. Unless he has some secret that I don't know about. Bieniemy has put the work in, man. And he's showing you he can get it done. We always talk about we got to be better when we talk about African-American men in certain positions. Dude has gotten it done. We look down at Leftwich down in Tampa Bay. He's trying, but dude is like, he's taking Kansas City to the next level. Because Mahomes, if you take away the offense, they're going to be good naturally because they have talent. But, hell, Sammy Watkins ain't played 9 weeks. Get ready for the Super Bowl. He going to catch 5 touchdowns. That's how that offense works. Because when you put the right pieces inside, it just shows you, to me, along with Andy Reid working together with him, what Bieniemy's capable of. I guess my point, too, is they're even talking about they don't even know if Bieniemy gets a job, if they're going to let this quarterback coach stay and call plays. He may not even call plays for Kansas City with Bieniemy league. But he get a job before him? That would be, that'd be quite perplexing, if you will.
Black, what's the complexion of this quarterback's coach?
His last name is Kofa.
Okay.
He played quarterback, backup quarterback NFL. He just got retired 3 years ago, bro. Okay. I will say, when I saw a picture of him, he reminded me of a Caucasian.
Okay. This is the good old boys league, man. This is how it works. We talk about it every year. This is the good old boys league. It's the good old boys league. I never heard of Coach Judge before he became a coach. All these you see all these offensive coordinators, all these defensive coordinators, the NFL running this program, the NFL running that program, but do you see who gets the job? So we talk about it every year. So I always say that the NFL is a big con when it talks about inclusiveness and trying to being along the lines of Black Lives Matter and all this other stuff and giving fair opportunities to folks who earn their right to do this. It's the same old. It's lip service until this is going to come up again. Now, if he does get hired, it's going to be maybe a weak story where everybody's talking about it and how unfair it is to be enemy and all this other stuff. Then it's going to just go away and it's business as usual. This is how the NFL operates. Your thoughts?
I'm gonna say yes, and I'm gonna say no. He is gonna get a job for Eric Bieniemy. If he decides he wants to coach, he's got it, bro. Name me the team. They said there was one, potentially two teams that contacted him last year that wanted him to coach. Two. Think about that for a second, bro. Eric Bieniemy had to go on interviews. They didn't contact him.
Yeah.
Interviews.
Point system.
I'm just telling you. So right now he's ahead of Eric as far as it is what it is. He's ahead of Eric Bieniemy. Now I say that is the old boy network. I'm not knocking it, but I said this last year about Eric Bieniemy. He has to find a way to show that outside of what I'm just standing there, he can lead a team, bro. And I almost think Andy Reid does him a disservice by standing next to him. I'm not saying Andy's calling the plays. But Andy need to kind of leave him alone, let him do what he's got to do. Because it's almost like he's up under Andy. Yes, it's an old boy network, but I'm going to say this, bro. If he wants to coach, this guy, Mike Kaffer, he will have a job before Eric Bieniemy this offseason. I'll put money down on it.
Who were the two teams?
They didn't say.
Yeah.
But they said that Andy said, two teams contacted him. They asked permission to speak to him. And Andy said he thinks the guy's ready to be a head coach. He said he's not ready. Now, that was not ready last year. So if he says he's ready this year, we'll see. But I find it interesting,
Chicago.
Where Eric Bieniemy, and he's a quarterback coach. Quarterback, bro. So, on both sides, you're right. It's that old school, because there's no way he should even be looked at as a potential head coach.
Yeah.
But there's some things, too, man, that I think that, and I'm not knocking the old boy and whatever, but I think something, and I think this is what kind of helped out Mike Tomlin a lot, especially when he first got started. And I think Kaffer has some of this. You got to bring some charisma with you, bro. You got to be able to kind of talk some stuff and sell yourself. And that's one thing I'll admit myself, I do not see in Eric. I just don't. And I don't know if you're going to have to hire somebody to teach him, whatever the case may do, bro, you do it.
Right.
Because if it comes down to charisma, he could do the job. Don't get me wrong. But anything in life, you got to sell yourself, bro.
Right.
You can't look at my record. You got to be able to go in there and sell yourself. Obviously, this guy has sold himself somehow to some people where they believe in him. At least two teams.
Bro, you seen these Subway commercials with Bill Belichick? Charisma?
You're talking way too different line of conversation, bro. That's just because they want Belichick in. It has nothing to do with charisma, bro. Nothing. You look at Mike Tomlin, and I'm not maybe now, but Mike Tomlin first started quarterback, and Mike Tomlin went to Pittsburgh and basically dared him not to hire him, bro. If you listen to Rooney, it's like he almost told him, and that's what you gotta do. Don't go and act like you begging for no. If this is what I could do for you, do you want it or not? Simple as that. And you got it. That's that charisma part of it. And he to me, he just doesn't project it, bro. He's got to project it. Tell Andy to move his fat ass over. I'm an offensive coordinator. Every time you talk about offensive coordinator's team, you say my name. It's not Andy Reid. It's me. And he has to get that out there, bro. People love cocky boldness, man. They do. He needs to be more assertive. Get out there. We know what you can do. You got to get out there.
I never suggest that people be something that they're not. So if that's not who he is, then just be yourself and let the chips fall where they may. But, If you can coach, you can coach.
If you're trying to get a job, bro, it's a competitive world. You can be yourself or you get the job. Which one you want?
I got to be me, baby.
And it's all out ending, baby.
Give me a question, man.
You gonna eat that cheeseburger?
I got one last thing to say. Last time I checked, the offensive coordinator, quarterback work is under the offensive coordinator. I guess
Yes, sir.
that don't matter. But staying with that kind of that groove or that thinking you mentioned about the kind of the NFL, something I used to think about, and I really think about it even more and more as I watch the evolution of the African American quarterback or the black quarterback. Why is it that fans give, and maybe I'm gonna just look at this a couple ways. Why is it that fans give the NFL a pass? Like when now they're celebrating the black quarterback, like now they finally are good enough to play quarterback. I mean, when we was growing up, man, there was cats like James Harris, right? There was dudes like Marlon Briscoe, one of the first dudes. Jefferson Street, Joe Gilliam, that clearly at times was better than damn Terry Bradshaw for the Steelers. He had all of the things. Warren Moon, other guys like that, two great black quarterbacks. And they just now all of a sudden, they're telling us how great these guys are or they're so talented. I mean, let's be real. Randall Cunningham, after he left Philadelphia, was the greatest backup quarterback in America ever. When he played for Dallas, they said, "You want to start?" He's like, "No, I'm cool. I got my money. I'm straight. I don't care if I see the field again. I'm going by because of emergencies." But the whole point of it is, why is it all of a sudden, it's almost as if their hands were tied. They always talked about the African-American quarterbacks being too small. The little dude out there, out there in Arizona, he was definitely too small, right? Talk about Lamar Jackson. You run too much. Russell Wilson was too small. Even Mahomes, it was always something about him. But now because they've taken over and shown you that they're capable, not only that, winning and also winning Super Bowls, it's almost as if the NFL's hands is tied. And now that they're allowed to get away with something they clearly, for a while, didn't want. I mean, look at what Baltimore had to do. They were the only ones to say, we're going to take a chance on Lamar Jackson because we think he can play. Nobody else said no. And then even the strongest broadcaster says, hey, I think you can only play wide receiver. So my question is, why do you think the NFL is allowed to get away with this damn con and now be celebrated the same way they ran the con when all of a sudden they ran this all black referee group out there, like we supposed to be excited about it? Come on, man. Anyway, sorry, I know that was longer than what but it is what it is.
Black.
I'm trying to understand the question, Brian.
The question is, why is it that we allow the NFL to come away with things and provide these cons in front of us when it's something that they really don't want? They're forced to, like African-American quarterbacks. They didn't want it for the longest time. And the only reason why they're just doing it now is because the guys have risen up to the plate. But we're not saying anything about what their past record has been. Why is that?
I won't say I totally agree they don't want it. I think they want a product out there. I'm not saying I think they're knocking doors down for coaches. That's a different from your question. But I think as quarterbacks, I don't think they're that against it anymore. In the past, they were. I think now they have no other choice, brother, whether they like it or not. There's so many talented quarterbacks now that look just like us. Even the quarterback for Indiana in college that got hurt, I think that kid's going to rip it in the NFL. I mean, when he comes to the NFL, he's going to rip it. So I think what it is now, you just have a league of announcers and commentators that have been around for so long that's not used to seeing black quarterbacks play. So they tried to find ways to not compliment them or over-compliment them. And that's not a lot of them, because the real good ones, they just talk about what you're doing. But you have some of them out there that they still stuck in that old mindset where they can't. I agree with you back in the past with Joe Gilliam and back on that. The NFL just at that time, they went away from it. And more so the owners kind of went away from it because they wanted to basically have no noise and have their franchise be the look of a white person being in a leadership position. I don't think that's the current NFL today. I don't think, I mean, there's some owners kind of may still feel that way, but I think NFL as a whole have moved beyond that. And just some people still have a tough time just kind of commenting and complimenting the black quarterback fully as they should. And I say that because even with Colt McCoy, they was talking about him like he was something special. He's never been nothing special, ever. So, but they would rather take a drop back quarterback because that's what the league was kind of built on in their eyes and hype them up.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me, your question reminds me of when the story about Alabama's Coach Bear Bryant, who Ohio State wanted to play USC because of Sam Cunningham. And knowing that Sam Cunningham would probably beat the team and run all over them, and that's what he did. And then the Alabama fans start saying we needed more black players. I think that even in today's game, black players are accepted in certain positions, but are not in all positions. The quarterback is the centerpiece of the team, is the face of the franchise. And I think it's a reluctance. I think it has been a reluctance to put a quarterback, especially a black quarterback, a black face, as the face of the franchise. I remember when Tampa Bay got Doug Williams, it was the same thing. Can he be the face of the franchise? So I think it's just still kind of this kind of old thought that quarterbacks should not be black, and they used to make comments about how they're more runners. They don't sit back in the pocket and pass. They can't think the game. I think Black said that earlier about Patrick Mahomes. They don't think the game the way white quarterbacks think, because you run as a quarterback, you have to know where everybody is. You have to know everybody's position, what they're doing on any given play. And so it was always this kind of thing of keeping the black quarterback at running back, receiver, offensive line, but never at quarterback. And I guess it got to a point where these black quarterbacks are raising the level of play to the point where it can't be ignored. If you want to win, you better get a mobile quarterback. And most of those mobile quarterbacks are black. Ice?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I get it. I mean, I still think there's something there, man. I do. Maybe that's just me. It may be the media. And again, I think that these African-American quarterbacks have literally they have pressed through and shown that they're capable. But there's always that negativity. When you talk about the combine, somebody too small. Like I said, you went out Arizona, quarterback too small. He should go play baseball. That's if I was him, he'd be safe because he's going to get hurt playing football. Patrick Mahomes. All right, well, we were not really sure about him. There might be suspect. We know he has an arm, but can he deliver the ball the way he needs to? Lamar Jackson. They came out the box and just said, look, you need to just be a wide receiver. Right. You have a chance in hell of playing quarterback. Even Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett proved that he's able to be in there. Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson was taken behind Trubisky. Mm-hmm. Are you kidding me? Dude, he's showing you I'm a franchise quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater. On and on and on. Even your boy Jameis Winston. I'm just saying. And that hurts. But all I'm saying is they come out and they say what they say, and then they get like a pass, like they didn't really say it. And I think it's up on the players who have really risen to the occasion and shown you that they can play. And either if you don't get behind us, you're gonna look foolish because we're the ones that's getting it done. So I kudos to them for that, because I remember the days when when Jefferson Street Joe Gilliam, had great talent, but the man couldn't get a shot. So bad that it ruined his life. Man ended up taking those drugs, basically killing himself because he never got the right shot. That shit is humbling for a guy that all he knows is being an athlete his whole life. But now we act like I don't know, maybe I'm just on one tonight because I'm so tired of these groups not giving people their just due, particularly African-American players, their due at the right time instead of waiting.
I hear you. Black, give me your last second shot.
Ooh, I'm not sure why Tyrod Taylor chose not to grieve the doctor that punctured his lung for no reason. But I think sometimes, man, you got to start to hold these people that claim to be who they are, that make significant errors. You got to hold them accountable, bro. And I understand that. And I think a lot of times we are more forgiving than we should be. And I'm all about forgiveness, bro. But I think my ribs is a long way from my lung with a needle. So, if you're coming into me and you're qualified to do such, you gotta be held accountable.
Ice, last second shot.
I had something different, but I'm gonna roll with this. This is what I call balls to the wall. The Louisville coach, football coach, Scott Satterfield, team is 3-7 right now. Okay, they brought him over. He's supposed to do some great things with Louisville. Turns out that he's saying the players aren't playing hard enough. They're not getting things done, not going to class, not doing what they're supposed to do, and they're not responsible. That's why we're struggling. And he came out and just blatantly said that. And he said the coaches need to worry about more or less their connecting with their families and connecting with their families and being at home with their families. And he said that's why we're struggling with the players. Then after he says that, he takes an interview with South Carolina. He goes to South Carolina interviews. They want him. He says, let me think about it. No, I don't want to do that. I changed my mind. Goes back to Louisville, and nobody says anything. So he's back in Louisville, like, now what? I just turned down South Carolina. Y'all, they're like, well, you wanted to be here. You should have just stayed. He said, you think somebody wants to talk to me about a job that might be better than yours? I'm not going to entertain it? You're crazy. So how does a coach, and I don't want to bring no color into it because you know that we don't do that on this show. But I'm just going to say, how can a coach at 3-7 command and tell people what he's going to do when your team is 3-7? And again, as the union man said, you're still under contract.
My last second shot goes to Paul George. How can you talk about a coach cost y'all losing the playoffs when you did nothing, absolutely nothing to help your team win on the offense and defensive end of the court? What are you smoking? Are you drinking too much of that Gatorade you pushing? I don't know what put you in a mind frame that it was Doc Rivers' fault for y'all losing with a 3-1 lead. You couldn't hit a shot. You said your head wasn't into it. Your head wasn't all straight in the bubble. And then you turn around and blame it on the coach. Man, I mean, if I was an NBA player and I saw Paul leave Indianapolis, talking about he was going to be at Indianapolis forever, and this is where he want to retire, go to OKC, say the same thing. Now with the Clippers, there's a pattern here, folks. There's a pattern here that you need to look at with this particular player. He ain't the one. He ain't the one. And I keep saying this, and I keep saying this. He ain't been right since he broke his leg in the Olympic trial. He hasn't been right. And while you keep dumping money and thinking that this player is a Batman to your Robin to your Batman, and that he's going to help Kawhi Leonard win a championship, he had a chance last year. He was brought over there to score and get buckets, and you couldn't get it done. That ain't the coach's fault, bro. You need to look in the mirror. That's our show for tonight. We'll be back with our NFL picks week 14, if none of the games are postponed. Black, what's the game looking like tonight?
Buffalo is doing some damage, 17-7 curling the 49ers, man. So I don't even know about my picks this week, bro.
We asked you during the picks. Well, are you sure you want to pick San Francisco?
Did you take San Francisco?
Yeah, he took San Francisco.
I took Buffalo, baby.
He almost talked about us taking San Francisco. But he
I
didn't.
took Buffalo.
No, you chose San Francisco. Look at the tape, man. I'm so glad we got it on tape. He said, no, I'm going with the 49ers.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, I quote, Garoppolo ain't playing, I'm taking San Francisco.
Bad boy, baby.
Yeah. Junior Mafia. Yeah.
Yeah. B.I.G. 2000.
Say anything about Paul George, Black. I can't believe you didn't.
I don't understand either. He should keep his mouth shut.
Oh my God.
It's like, bro, he's doing most of the talk. It's been ever since they lost. That championship is over. That run is over. Shut up.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe he threw Doc Rivers on. And I don't think Doc Rivers, I know Doc Rivers didn't coach him up the way he should have,
Right.
but he can't help you get buckets when you got open shots and you missing them.
He was horrible in that series, bro.
Oh, man.
Whole playoff.
He gave him no help at all.
That's not even choking, bro. That's beyond choking. He just choked up seriously. So it's like, bro, it's like if anybody should be talking, the last person should be him. Last person.
I think Kawhi was even looking at him like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yes.
What you talking about? Seriously. You know, you might blame Doc Rivers to a point, but like you said, it comes upon the players to say, look, we need to stop this. We need to do something about it. Should he have made adjustments? Sure. But as a player, you got to go, yo, man, we got to make this, we got to stop this bleeding because it was 3-1. There's no way in hell they should have lost that. You can't win one game.
Yeah.
Somebody could have won for 45 and won the damn game. You got two dudes killing you. Two dudes in a half after that. Maybe Jeremy Grant and then the older cat that went to Utah. Other than that, I mean, they were up and down. They had two dudes.
I don't know why. I don't know if his fiance, I think he's getting ready to get married. I don't know if she's in his ear. I don't know what's going on. But he's just been mouthing off.
Yes.
Like, you know, like he was averaging 25. He was throwing in 35 a night. Oh, they played me wrong. They did this. They made the adjustments. Dude, you had open shots. Open shots. Matter of fact, they start letting you be open.
Yes.
You couldn't hit those shots, man.
And then you weren't gonna make it. Yes.
It was you. Look in the mirror. You are the reason why they didn't advance.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that.
More than any other player on that team, it was him.
Yep.
So they need to take that and just put it around his neck. Like, this was on you, bro. You were brought here to get buckets. Yeah. And you didn't deliver. Mm-hmm. So you could blame Doc. Doc out of town. So what's going to be excuse this year? When the Lakers, you know, slap you up again. What's going to be the excuse?
Yeah. Doc is done.
Wow. Out of all the things I heard him say, Indiana, then when he went to OKC, this takes the cake, bro. This takes the cake. I wouldn't even want to play with him on the team.
Yeah, I to this day, man, I'm not sure why Kawhi Leonard picked him anyway. I just didn't understand it.
They're both from Cali, so you know.
It's, okay, all right.
They have Westbrook than Paul George.
It's hard to say, but I'll take it. I will take it. At least Westbrook's going to play.
Westbrook.
He's going to play. He's going to show up. He's going to show up. Yeah.
He ain't going to pass the ball, but he's going to show up.
He's going to show up. Somebody better get a rebound.
That's why I was saying earlier, I don't understand why the NBA is literally rushing to go back on television, bro. I mean, you're going back, you figure they're coming on in December. The NFL playoff is getting ready to get started, bro. Who's going to be paying attention? I mean, and they're probably not going to do well Christmas Day, but who can be paying attention?
I guess they're supposed to be on TV now playing games, but I mean,
their ratings have been
pretty much taken over. College basketball is taking over. College football definitely is hot.
Even before the pandemic, their ratings was going down, bro. And I said this before, people are tired of looking at who, you know who, they're tired. It's LeBron and nobody else. And that's partly the NBA's fault and ESPN's fault.
Yeah, I can't remember last time I watched NBA TV.
No, like I said, who watches it, bro? Who sits down and watches that? Even after a game, they give you, the analysis is horrible.
They do analysis after games?
That's what I'm saying. You don't even know. Some games, they talk about what took place. And the sad part about it is they'll do like a 30-minute show and they'll loop the show over and over again. Are you kidding me? Especially when the season's on, you should be a place where fans can go get live updates, what's going on, different games. I mean, it should be live a lot of the time, but it's not.
So,
it's antiquated.
So the games they do, because sometimes they turn it on free, and you go on the local networks for their games. So the analysis from the local guys or the analysis from people from NBA TV?
NBA TV, what they'll do most nights when games are on, they'll come on like when the games are finished. And they talk about games that have been played, and they do they can show you some highlights and do some things, but it's not good analyzation. It's just, to me, cheap shop talk. My point is, you have to be right now, especially with modern technology, and they do, like on Tuesday night, they do cut-ins to certain games. Nobody want to do a cut-in, bro. You know what I mean? You want to basically show some games for a period of time, show some things happening, talk about it. It could be done much better and be more attractive. Even like their app. I looked at the app a couple of years ago. That thing was a piece of garbage, bro. Garbage. Because they don't want to spend any money. And same in the NFL. The NFL app tends to be better, but NBA don't want to spend any money in their app or their channel.
I sent you guys I think I sent you a pic. I know I'm going to use it to post up the some of the shows. They were doing I guess they did the viewership for primetime NBA Finals game. It was 5.6 million viewers. For the Wednesday afternoon NFL game, with the third string playing quarterback, it was 11.4 million viewers.
Real bad.
I'm gonna tell you, 4th and 1. If you can't line up and run 4th and 1, bro, what are you playing for? I'll be honest with you, bro.
Right. I'm surprised they do the ball. Seriously.
Exactly. 4th and 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
You line up 4th and 1, you got to just go get it.
It's almost as if they're trying to lose this game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What type of play calling is that?
Yeah.
Talk about losing games. You see the Jets kind of all-out blitz.
They fired the guy too, William. They got rid of
Yeah. They fired the wrong guy.
Yeah, they fired the whole coaching staff because the head coach had to go okay it. He could have said, "No, we're not doing it."
Yeah, he's trying to make it. I'd say, even though that play is crazy, I will say this though: the Raiders. What's going on with the Raiders, baby? What's going on with them? That game should nowhere been that close against the Jets.
No,
It's true.
None.
That
quarterback was fumbling, bumbling, throwing interceptions for the Jets. And you got to come down to a last play to beat the Jets?
They set it up for him, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Tony Dungy said it best. He said, look, Friday and Saturday, that's the plays we practice. When you get in positions like this, everybody goes back. You play basically prevent, and you rush maybe 4. He said, everybody knows that. He says, and I don't understand why they did it. And just to see that single coverage on that cornerback or that safety.
He had a rookie. That was a rookie, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Boomer Esiason says like they almost kind of set this up to lose this game. I was like, wow.
They want that first pick.
Yeah, because the only person they battled right now was Jacksonville.
Yeah.
It's them or Jacksonville. At least Jacksonville trying to win. You could just see Jacksonville going out there playing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what the Jets doing.
Yeah, well, so it's been over for a while up there. They know it.
Oh yeah.
They know it.
Even with the number 1 pick, they ain't going nowhere.
Number 1 pick don't even want to go there.
No, would you? After you see what happened to homeboy in Cincinnati?
It's Lions then.
And they crack me up, man. One thing about these announcers, man, they will definitely tune you up. Yeah, well, Sam Donald go to another team, a better offensive line. Sam Donald stinks. He stinks. I don't care what offensive line you put behind, the guy stinks. It is what it is. Stop acting like these are possibilities. He stinks, bro.
Yo, man, people are trying to. There are some people that I heard trying to give Trubisky, oh, he played really well up until that last play. I'm like, and